true that knowledge and leadership has to go together. To share the insights about the knowledge and leadership, the person who is behind the success of many CEOs and corporates, global corporates, is with us, Dr. Charan, and he will be giving us his insights on the leadership to all of us. And I am also like you, all of you, I am also quite eager to hear Dr. Charan and hear his insights about the leadership. I welcome Dr. Charan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me in the back there? I like to make this session very give and take. My mission in life is that I like each of you to raise your questions, something I will also learn from you. And also, I hope you take one or two things home, and that can be helpful to you. I don't invent anything new. I learn from you and other people and simplify them to see what's really happening on the practitioner side. On the leadership side, crystallizing with the experiences I'm allowed to have, I'd like you to note 4 items. Those who are taking notes, I'll give you those 4 items. And these 4 items are the ones, if you practice like the athletes do, consistently, persistently, with determination, with rhythm, with regularity, you will see a lot of happiness and you will see a lot of success. One of the 4 is the people. Your multiplier is the people. The second item is speed. Speed of decision making and the right quality of decisions. And Mr. Mantri and I were talking just before the meeting started. Is a very crucial item he mentioned, and that is timing. Like negotiating a curve in a moving street, moving road. So the timing matters in decision making. Number 3 is innovation. And in the question and answer, ask me some questions. I'll take you through to take the myth out of the innovation. That's one of the things I do in life in some of the largest companies in America, that how do I put the innovation process inside the companies. And the innovation here is very simple. And that is the leadership job to do something new. That something can be a product, something can be a process, something can be a business model. It doesn't have to be some fancy, disruptive product per se. And the 4th part is productivity, annual productivity. You must have product. I'm not talking about cutting people. Productivity, something you do better, something you do better. It has to have program, it has to have consistency, it has to have, over time, a rhythm to it. Now, when I say there's 4 things, you may be doing all the 4. You may be doing the 2 things, 3 things, see what is applicable to you. But see what is the cocktail mixture of the 4 for your company going forward. The second thing, the Indian companies who want to go global, what things to watch. Because I'm allowed to see from the other side of the coin. I go to Africa, I see Indian companies. I am in America, obviously, I see that. So I've begun to figure out a few things. And they are strictly sticklers. You know, ticklers think about this, think about that. There's no comprehensiveness to it. And the third item is the execution. In the execution, I want to take you through a couple of things. You all do it, but there are a couple of things, the companies that are on the takeoff to become bigger. And if you're interested, then I'll tell you what the secret of the Apple is, because he had developed a new management model. I can assure you this company will continue when he passes from the scene. I personally worked with one of the directors of Apple, and I had something to do in having him come back to Apple. But it's one of the most successful companies today, $63 billion in sales, $65 billion in cash. In 1997, it's broke. It cannot be chalked to luck. There's something to it that drives it. So I can't even say he was lucky and therefore he did that. So let me take the first part very quickly. Three items I'd like you to know about the global landscape. The first part, you know it, but I'm going more online with you. The inflation is here. You all know this. But I want you to think this way. And when I say I want you to think this way, it's my view. It's not your view or somebody else's view. And I've been testing that with some of the industrialists in India on this. On a 5-year basis, that means the prices will go up 50%, give and take. Plan your business that the prices go 50% in 5 years. How does your business have to change? Don't just think year by year. Inflation is here to stay in India, in China, in Brazil, in all Middle East countries that have resources. America has inflation today, but the numbers don't reveal. So my point to the group is inflation is here globally, except for Japan, parts of Europe, and definitely in America it is here. It's smaller, it's shorter, it's not shorter, it's smaller. And America will not have a double dip, but it will have possibly very low economic growth, but not anything you write home about. Item number 2 in landscape, the advanced countries, the United States, not Canada, not Australia, Europe, not Germany, Japan, all these, they got to get their house in order. It's not going to happen for at least 3 to 5 years. Simply will not happen. And you don't need an astrological forecaster to tell you that. And the reason is, in the democratic society, you need political will to fix the house. And that political will, we can't see changing at least for the next 3-4 years. If it changes in 3-4 years, it takes time to get consensus to do that. So they are on the defensive. They're going to get the house in order. Growth will be very small, if any. Will not be in Japan, will not be in Ireland, in Portugal, in Spain, clearly in Germany, for good reasons. And here I want you to think about what does that mean for you when you see that kind of a scenario. I thought these are the remarks I thought I'd make. Hopefully something can be helpful to you. Discuss these with your people. Get them to talk what's happening. Get your critical people really inspired, really active, and find a way to nurture them.
Think about your questions as we go along. So I have the privilege, since I'm sitting next to Sir, to have the first question with you. My first question is a question that pretty much every CEO across companies in India is facing today. Not only in India, actually, the global context as well. The thing is that just understanding your market or your product and what you need to do to get to the market is not enough in today's environment. Because what the last 2.5-3 years has shown us is that nobody knows what's on the other side or on the turn, because the global conditions have been so tumultuous, marketplace has been so competitive. In India, you have hyper competition, pretty much every sector, and you have competitors bringing down prices. You know, there's a lot of competitiveness on the ground. What are the basic CEOs can do to ensure that their strategy pays off, that they have a clear vision of what lies ahead?
First, one size does not fit all. People have to come to terms with it. The second point is that the CEOs have to have information from the ground unfiltered. All of you heard of Walmart. To the day he lived, when he died, it was about 100 billion in sales. He always had the information from the ground unfiltered. The second thing is that the strategy in many places, not all, is too broad and too general. You've got to translate that into critical tasks on a 1 to 2 year basis, and then say how they're getting executed. Work backwards from there. And the third one is that, as I saw last year in India, the fight between two regulatory bodies had a huge negative impact on the insurance industry. So I saw one of the industrialists very much in the center of information.